everyone. Let us see about postulates of crystal field theory. So the first postulate of crystal field theory is the interaction of d orbitals of a central metal atom with the ligands. The metal atom is surrounded by ligands, and the d orbitals of the central metal atom interact with those groups called as ligands. The ligands may be negatively charged or neutral. The negatively charged ligands are considered as point charges, while neutral ligands are considered as point dipoles. That is the second postulate of crystal field theory. The third is, according to crystal field theory, the attraction between the central metal and the ligands in a complex is purely electrostatic or ionic in nature. The attraction between the central metal and ligands is purely ionic or electrostatic in nature. The theory is mainly based on considering the energy changes of the 5 degenerate d orbitals when they come across with the, or when they are attacked by the ligands. The theory is mainly based on considering the energy changes of the 5 degenerate d orbitals when they are attacked by the ligands. When the ligand approaches the metal ion, the electrons of the present in the ligand will be closer to some of the d orbitals and away from other, some are away from other d orbitals. When the ligand approaches the metal ion, the ligands will be closer to some of the d orbitals present in the metal and away from the other d orbitals. Now, whenever the ligands approach, the electrons in the d orbitals of the metal and those in the ligand repel each other due to repulsion between like charges. Whenever the ligands approach the central metal, the electrons in the d orbitals of the metal and those in the ligand, that means which are closer to each other, the d orbitals which are closer to the ligands, in those the electrons in the d orbitals of the metal and in the ligand repel each other due to repulsion between like charges. Thus, the d electrons of the metal closer to the ligands will be repelled more and acquire higher energy than the d orbitals which are away. Right? So the d orbitals of the metal which are closer to the ligands will be repelled more than the d orbitals which are away from the ligands. So higher the repulsion, higher is the energy acquired by the d orbitals. So the energy of the d orbitals which are closer to the ligands will acquire higher energy, whereas the energy of the d orbitals which are away from the ligands acquire lower energy. So this results in the splitting of d orbitals in their energy, and it is called as crystal field splitting. So the d orbitals which are actually degenerate, they split into two groups, or they split into groups having different energies, and that splitting is called as crystal field splitting. So these are the postulates of crystal field theory. I repeat it again. The central metal atom interacts with the d orbitals of the central metal atom interacts with the ligands. The negatively charged ligands are considered as point charges, whereas neutral ligands are considered as point dipoles. The attraction between the metal and the ligands in a complex is completely ionic or electrostatic. And the theory is mainly based on the energy changes of the 5 degenerate d orbitals when they are surrounded by the ligands. When the ligand approaches the metal ion, they are closer to some of the d orbitals, whereas away from some other d orbitals. Now, when the ligands approach, the electrons in the d orbitals of the metal and those in the ligand repel each other due to repulsion between like charges. So the d orbitals of the metal which are closer to the ligands will be repelled more than the d orbitals of the metal which are away from the ligands. So the energy of the d orbitals that are closer to the ligands acquire higher energy and become unstable, whereas the d orbitals of the metal which are away from the ligands acquire lower energy and they become more stable. With the result, the degenerate d orbitals split into groups of different energies, and that phenomenon is called as crystal field splitting. This crystal field splitting or this splitting of degenerate d orbitals is mainly responsible to explain the magnetic properties or energy or stability of the complex. Now let us see the crystal field splitting in octahedral complexes. So octahedral complex, octa means 6. It consists of 6 ligands. In an octahedral complex, the metal ion is at the center. So this is the representation of the octahedral complex. Metal atom is at the center, surrounded by 6 ligands at the 6 corners of an octahedral. And the coordinate axis, the directions x, y, and z coordinate axis are to the 3 adjacent corners of the octahedral. And in this octahedral complex, ligands are approaching along the coordinate axis. We can see this in the diagram that ligands are in the same direction of the coordinate axis, which are x, y, and z. So ligands approach the metal atom along the coordinate axis. So we have seen in the previous lecture that d orbitals are divided into 2 sets based on the orientation of the lobes. So the d orbitals whose lobes are oriented along the axis are called Eg set of orbitals, whereas the d orbitals whose lobes are oriented in between the axis are called T2g set of orbitals. So here, as the ligands approach along the coordinate axis, the d orbitals of the central metal whose lobes are along the axis are in the same direction of the ligands. Okay, here the d orbitals of the central metal atom whose lobes are oriented along the axis, that means Eg set of orbitals, are in the same direction of the ligands. That means the ligands are closer to the Eg set of orbitals, whereas these ligands are away from the T2g set of orbitals. So the Eg set of orbitals will undergo more repulsion with the ligands than T2g set of orbitals. So as higher the repulsion, higher is the energy possessed. The energy of the Eg orbitals increase while the energy of T2g orbitals decreases. That is in general happening in the octahedral complex when the ligands approach the central metal atom. Now this is the energy level diagram of the octahedral complex. See, there are 5 d orbitals in the free ion which are degenerate. Okay, now let us assume or let us imagine that the ligands are approaching the metal and all the ligands are at a uniform distance from the metal atom. That means are at the same distance. Right? The ligands are approaching the metal atom and all the ligands are at the same distance. And let us also imagine that there is no orientation in the lobes of the d orbitals. All the d orbitals are uniformly oriented. In such a case, when the ligands approach, all the d orbitals will be repelled same and the energy of the d orbitals increases. This is an imaginary situation, a hypothetical situation where the ligands are at a uniform distance with the metal and there is no proper orientation of the d orbitals in the metal. The orientation of the d orbitals in all the orientation in all the d orbitals is same and all the ligands are at an equal distance with the metal. In such case, all the d orbitals will undergo repulsion equally and the energy of the d orbitals increases, but still they remain degenerate. So here the energy of the d orbitals is increased, but still they are degenerate, because we are imagining that there is no proper orientation in the d orbital and all the ligands are spherically distributed around the metal at a uniform distance. But that is not the actual case, because the orientation of the lobes in the d orbitals is different, right? Where some lobes are oriented along and some lobes are oriented in between the axes. Now in the octahedral complex, as we have seen, the ligands are approaching along the axis. The EG set of orbitals will undergo greater repulsion and they acquire higher energy than this degenerate set, whereas the T2G set of orbitals undergo less repulsion as they are not in the direct path of the ligands, and they acquire lower energy than this degenerate state. So as in this diagram, the energy of the T2G set of orbitals is found to decrease by 0.4 units than the degenerate set, whereas the energy of the EG set of orbitals is found to increase by 0.6 delta units from the degenerate set. Okay, so this delta O represents the crystal field splitting in octahedral complex. O represents the octahedral complex. So the energy of the T2G orbitals is found to decrease by 0.4 delta O units than the degenerate set, whereas the energy of the EG set of orbitals is found to increase by 0.6 delta O units than from the degenerate set. So this is the crystal field splitting energy level diagram for an octahedral complex. So this is the free metal atom, and this is an imaginary situation where all the d orbitals are uniformly oriented and all the ligands are at an equal distance with the metal, right? Where the d orbitals still remain degenerate but are higher in energy than the free metal atom. Okay, but as that is not actual situation, the d orbitals are oriented in different ways. The EG set of orbitals, which are in the direct path of the ligands, undergo greater repulsion than the T2G set of orbitals. That is the crystal field splitting energy level diagram in octahedral complex. See, 5 d orbitals are initially degenerate if 6 negative charges are uniformly distributed, that means are at an equal distance. The d orbitals still remain degenerate, but they possess higher due to repulsive forces between the negative charge of the ligand and electrons in the d orbitals. Now placing the 6 negative charges, that means ligands, at the vertices of an octahedron removes their degeneracy. The EG set of orbitals which point directly at the 6 ligands located on the x, y and z axis, the energy of these orbitals increase will be greater by 0.6 delta O units. Okay, thus the electron entering EG set will destabilize the complex. Higher the energy, lower is the stability. So the electron entering the EG set will destabilize the complex, right? Whereas the other 3 d orbitals, which are not in the path of the ligands, undergo less repulsion, and the energy of those orbitals lowers by 0.4 delta O units, and the electron entering the T2G set will stabilize the complex. That is the splitting, crystal field splitting in octahedron. The magnitude of the splitting, that means the strength of the splitting, depends on the charge on the metal ion, position of the metal in the periodic table, and nature of the ligands. The splitting of the d orbitals does not change the total energy of the 5 d orbitals. Okay, but just the 2 EG orbitals increase in energy by 0.6, whereas 3 T2G orbitals decrease by 0.4. But the total energy of the d orbitals remains the same from the degenerate set. So total change in energy is given as 2 into 2 represents the 2 electrons in EG set of orbitals, 2 into 0.6 delta O plus 3 into minus 0.4. Here 3 represents the 3 orbitals in the T2G set. 3 into minus 0.4 delta O. Minus indicates the decrease in energy. minus 0.4 delta O, which is equal to 0. And when the electrons are filled in the orbitals, in the T2G and EG set of orbitals, the energy achieved by the complex is known as crystal field stabilization energy. So the gain in energy or the change in the energy achieved by the filling up of orbitals by electrons is called crystal field stabilization energy. Now that crystal field stabilization energy depends on the number of ligands, nature of the ligands, and geometry of the complex. In general, greater the CFSE of the complex, greater is its stability. So by calculating the CFSE value, we can easily explain whether the complex is stable or unstable. Right? So CFSE depends on the number of the ligands and nature of the ligands. So greater the CFSE of the complex, greater is the stability of the complex. Okay, thank you.